Hey guys, me and Buddy are here, and I am Chris Norwood on a journey to hear every song ever recorded. And today we're going to be talking, oddly enough, about money. This is something I've always been interested in, being a music nerd, a music fan. Is anytime I start listening to a band or discovering a band, I always want to know how much money did they make off of this? And is it fair? Is it unfair? Is it just absolutely ludicrous? My favorite band is Green Day, and I'm looking at them. They have a combined net worth of $150 million between the three of them. It looks pretty fair in the Green Day scheme of things, with Armstrong making 55, Mike Dirnt making 50, and Trey Cool making a cool 45 million. So those guys are pretty dang comfy. Even the lowly drummer is, 45 million. You can buy some pretty cool Hello Kitty merchandise with $45 million. So they're doing pretty well. I think I've chosen a favorite musician pretty well. I'm still trying to find somebody better, but as of yet, nobody has toppled the great Green Day. But today, this video, we're going to be talking about the poorest, the least successful musicians that I enjoy. This is from my list of my 230 favorite artists, and I took a look at the names, and if I thought they were somebody that was, haven't been super popular, I would look up their net worth. And some of these people, it's, we will never know exactly what's in their bank account. And, that's for good reason. I don't want anybody to know what's in my bank account because it's so embarrassing. Especially compared to these, even these poorest musicians are unimaginably wealthy compared to myself. Even the poorest on the list. So let's just get started. I'm going to start with the richest and work our way down to the poorest of my favorite musicians. So, my absolute favorites, like most of these are from they're my least favorite favorites, because there's some of these are good. We'll talk about them as we get to them. So let's just jump right in. The poorest musicians that I like. Coming in the richest is going to be a little band called Tantric. They had several singles in the 2000s that didn't really do a whole lot, but they were, you probably wouldn't bump into anybody that's heard of Tantric aside from like hardcore rock and roll fans. They were kind of maybe a two-hit wonder. I think they had Astounded and some other tracks that did okay, and then they kind of faded into oblivion. They were never really a household name, but they've made $1.6 million despite nobody really knowing who Tantric are. They're a really good band. If you want to check out, they're kind of a grungy. They were kind of one of the last grunge sounding bands that came out, and they were pretty darn entertaining. Their discography is kind of mixed, but they've got some really darn good songs. Tantric, $1.6 million off of not really a successful career. That's pretty impressive. I would say that is successful. Coming in next is going to be Eve 6. This is a band I've talked about on the channel. I did a ranking the studio albums by them. And they were huge in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were one of those first punk bands that I got into in 90, 97, 98, 99. And their subsequent albums just flopped terribly. But despite that, they had some really big hits, and they've made a cool $1.7 million. So I didn't take into account, there's so many different things that affect a musician's money situation. For instance, if they were already rich before they became famous, or maybe they had a good job before they were famous, or, I'm not comparing lengths of careers. If it took you 70 years to make, 10 million, or it took you 1 year to make 10 million, whatever. It's too much math. We're not doing all that math. This is just straight up 2020 net worths. Okay, coming in third from the richest is going to be, I was surprised at this one, Wednesday 13. I actually met Wednesday 13 at a horror convention in Georgia, and he was the coolest guy. I spent part of the day with him, and he was just really down to earth. He's from around here, and man, I was talking to a millionaire. He's worth $1.3 million, and I would venture to guess that not many people know who Wednesday 13 is. He's sort of he was in the Murder Dolls. So he's played with some big name people, but Wednesday 13 and the Murder Dolls, not super well known. They're not mega stars. But yeah, he's got 1.3 million. So kudos, Wednesday. Coming in next, I think more people have heard of this band now than these even richer bands. But Blessed Union of Souls. They were a really, really great pop rock group that I fell in love with in the late 90s, 99, 2000. And, I kind of had a feeling they were one of the ones I was like, yeah, I maybe need to look them up. They transitioned to Christian music at some point in their career. And I thought, maybe that would have not helped their career a lot, sadly. So Blessed Union of Souls, they had some really big hits in the 90s, 2000s, and they've got 1 million even, according to Google's and other websites. So, Blessed Union of Souls are a really good band. Really great alternative rock. Chumbawamba is coming in next, and they are in the same category as Blessed Union of Souls. They've got 1 million. And Chumbawamba are kind of a household name due to that one song. We don't even need to discuss, I get knocked down, I get up again, you're never going to keep me down, I get knocked down, I get up again. Yeah, that one song made them most of this $1 million. Their other 13 albums didn't really sell that well. They were sort of an underground indie band that really never had any other single do what that song did. And they made $1 million. So good for them. They sold out, and good for them. I like Chumbawamba. They're so freaking weird. But they're weird millionaires. Now that's something we need to discuss too, is some of these net worths, it's sort of hard to find if this is the money split between the band members, or if this is like, some of these are kind of, it implies that it's just the lead singer and then it's kind of divided up. So, there's a lot of people in Chumbawamba. So $1 million divided by, let's see how many members. I should know this because I'm the musical wizard. Oh my goodness. There's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people in Chumbawamba. So if it's $1 million split between, this many people, it's not a lot of money. Let's see. Say there's 10. So, they're living comfortably, but they're not super duper, they're not millionaires individually if you got $1 million divided by that many people. Let's move along. Rehab is going to be the next band on here. They became famous with their single, The Bartender song. Bartender, I really did it this time. Broke my career to have a good time. When I got home, it was 3 a.m. The door was locked, so I kicked it in. And in my drunken stupor, I did what I should have never done. I'll get to the part, you know. I'm sitting at a bar on the outside, waiting for my ride on the inside. She stole my heart in the trailer park, so I jacked the keys to her freaking car and crashed that piece of poop and then stepped away. You guys remember that? Rehab. Now, I was proud that I actually fell in love with this band before that goofy, I get knocked down type of song came out. Now, I love the popular stuff, but Rehab was like an underground band that some of me and my weirdo friends really loved back, you know, before they were famous. So Rehab is really special to me. They've got a lot of really great music before and after their success with Bartender, and I really suggest you check them out. It's hard to find physical copies of their music, so you're probably going to have to stream it, but I suggest buying Graffiti the World by Rehab. One of the best rock albums I've ever heard, and this group actually changes their style with each record. They've got rap, they've got country, they've got rock, they've got blends of all of it, they've got pop, and even on some of their newer stuff on Galaga, they are experimenting with some jazz and blues, and they do all of those very well. Danny Boone is a really great lyricist and songwriter. The lineup is extremely fractured and disjointed, and sometimes they even change lineups between shows. It's just a different band. Right now they've got the official members are just the two singers, and then they've kind of got a revolving cast of characters. But man, 1 million, I believe most of that is going to be attributed to Danny Boone. So it's possible he's a millionaire and his cohorts are just sort of, you know, touring members. And I have no idea what touring members make. What do you think? Like if I were to go on tour as a backup singer, guitar player for a lesser known band, how much money do you think I would make? Probably not a lot, right? But maybe more than I'm making now. I don't know. Maybe less. Coming in next is going to be another punk rock band called H2O. They're kind of hard to Google, hard to find information about, and a lot of the sources that I went to for net worths were very unclear on how much money this band is making, but it looked like it was around $1 million. It said possibly less, possibly more, but H2O, they had a hit with Role Model, and I believe that's the only one I ever saw a video for or heard on the radio that got any kind of attention. So really great, just real pure punk rock, just really fast, really in your face, kind of anthemic punk rock. So, you know, hopefully they're on the better end of $1 million, you know, but, you know, hey, $1 million is $1 million, right, to me. So, now we're getting into the, let's see, now we're getting into the bands that may have made over $1 million, and I got to do a little bit, no, so we're going to, so coming up next is going to be, I had a little bit of confusion there because like I said, these net worths are kind of hard to research. So coming up next is going to be Paradigm, and you may have heard of him. He replaced Uncle Kracker in Kid Rock's band when Uncle Kracker went solo. And Paradigm, he's kind of hard to find on the internet as well, like a lot of these bands are. And he has a solo career, which is pretty darn good. I'm actually having trouble finding his music to listen to anywhere on the internet. Spotify does not have all of his albums, and I can't find it anywhere else. So if you guys know where to hear all of Paradigm's music, please let me know. His official links are kind of outdated, like by 10 years, and it's really kind of sad. He was a great rapper. He filled in for Uncle Kracker, and he did a really good job in the Twisted Brown Trucker Band, and it looks like he is pushing between $1 and $2 million. So he's doing pretty well for himself, but we've got him in the 1 million category, just for clarification purposes. He could be somewhere else. So coming up next is going to be Edema, which was a nice little offshoot from Korn, because their lead singer was the cousin of Jonathan Davis. So they had a little bit of success with that new metal scene, and then they've kind of run into a lot of problems since then. But despite all the issues, Edema still worth $1 million. Coming up next is going to be a Christian rock band, Third Day, raking in the cash. Hopefully in a better way than some of these kind of creepy mega preachers. Now, nothing wrong with mega churches. I enjoy mega churches, but some of those preachers need to kind of need a little bit more check and balances. So, Third Day, Christian rock group, coming in with $1 million. Pretty nice. Pretty good for them. Good for them. And now we're getting into the broke rock stars. And again, when I say broke, these people are making way more money than I am. But Alien Ant Farm, this is one I knew I had to include because I remember, hey buddy, I remember seeing Alien Ant Farm on MTV Cribs, and all the band members were living in a dilapidated house together. The 4 or 5 grown men were living in this rundown, condemned building together, and it looked nasty and gross. They were literally living in an alien ant farm. It was really pathetic. Now I know, and you know, that MTV Cribs was kind of fake, so I don't know if that was a joke or what, but it didn't seem to be a joke. It just seemed sad. Like me and my parents were watching it, and it just seemed really sad and depressing. But that being said, Alien Ant Farm combined is worth $950,000. Now, that could be split between the 4 members, and let's see if that would put them like living in a crack house. So, and again, there's, the cost of living is different in different places. So maybe they need to move somewhere where it's a little bit lower if, they're still living in a crack house. That's a little bit pathetic, guys. Okay, let's say there's 4 members. So each member should have $240,000. So that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. You should not be living in a crack house with 3 other grown men and their families if you're bringing in $230,000. That's enough to buy a decent house and buy it outright and live comfortably. So, Alien Ant Farm, if Cribs was real, they're not living their best life. Get your stuff together, Alien Ant Farm. Put out another record, too. I really was digging that late era Alien Ant Farm. Hopefully they got something coming soon. I know they did do a cover song recently, and it was pretty darn good. Coming up next, this is going to be the 4th brokest band ever. L.E.N. Lynn. Man, I had high hopes for this band. Back in the Steal My Sunshine days, things were looking up. And then there was nothing. And there's been nothing for 20 years. So, I loved Steal My Sunshine. I ran out and bought that album. That album was great. All the other songs on it were good. It was a little bit weird, a little bit experimental, and sort of kind of had a Gorillaz vibe to it before the Gorillaz, and around the same time, and then nothing. And again, it's kind of hard to track down their music. If you Google L.E.N. Band, there's really nothing. It's hard to find them. It's hard to figure out what they're doing. It does look like they've had some financial problems with tax issues, but it looked like they raked in about 750,000. Now that's again kind of dispersed from the members, so let's see how many members are in LEN, Lynn. That's how you say the band name, LEN, Lynn. They are an alternative rock duo from Toronto. There's only 2 of them, and they're siblings. So let's see. Oh my goodness, but there's been like 1,000 past members. What? Why are all the past members named Drew? That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's right, Wikipedia. So they became active again in 2011. Yikes. Yeah, they just have not had, they had Steal My Sunshine and Cryptic Soul's Crew were their only charting songs. And then that's been about it. That's all that you can really find on the internet about LEN, Lynn. But if it's just the brother and sister, let's see if what can you do with $750,000, and let's split it evenly between the siblings. So that's giving each of them $375,000. And I'm seeing all these articles where they're struggling and they're suffering and tax evasion. Dude, that's a lot of money. You know, I hear this said a lot, and it's true. It's sadly true. If you have a roof over your head, you are rich. And that's not even a nice roof. That's like even if you're sleeping in a tent on the ground, if you have something covering your head, you are rich. So for Lynn to be struggling, LEN to be struggling with $750,000 in their pocket, you're doing something wrong. I've said time and time again, if I ever won the lottery, I would not go out and buy a golden house and a golden car and 1,000 airplanes. You know what I'd do? I'd keep this house, and I would definitely buy a new car, not a Lamborghini, not a golden, like a golden replica of the Back to the Future car with a diamond windshield. That would be stupid. Couldn't see out of it. I would fix this house up. I would get a nice car. It's like a Volkswagen Jetta, and I would live comfortably. I would buy the records I want to buy, and I would kick back in my house, and that would be it. Maybe I would go nuts when I got the money, but I don't think I would. I'm kind of a cheapskate. And I would, if I had $1 million, it takes me about 42 years to make $1 million. So I could definitely make it last because I'm making it last now. So anyway, rant over. Coming up next is going to be a country parody artist, Cletus T. Judd. Now he retired from the music business. Not exactly sure what happened there, but in his years of making music, he made $600,000. Now, I would say that's a lot of money. That's it's more than $500,000. So, like I was saying about me, now I'm sure these people have a different kind of lifestyle than I have, obviously. But $600,000 can last a long, long, long time. Let's see how many years I could live off $600,000. 600,000 divided by, I'm going to put in my yearly income. I could live 20 years off $600,000. So Cletus T. Judd, if you are feeling poor, maybe you need to stop hanging out with the billionaires and the millionaires. Maybe you can't even afford to hang out with Lynn, L-E-N, Or Alien Ant Farm in their crack house. I mean their Alien Ant Farm. But Cletus T. Judd is not the poorest. There's still two more bands. Coming in at the second poorest is going to be hard rock group Saliva. And I can't believe this because Josie Scott and that band, they had a lot of success back then, but for some reason they are only worth $300,000. And that's divided between 4 people. So this is, let's see how they compare to me. 300,000. Let's see. There's 4 guys. Okay, so they're still much richer than I am. Each guy has about $75,000. So they are basically now they're making about. I don't want to give too much personal information away, but they're making a lot more than I am a year. $75,000. So say that's the only money they have. Say they don't have any more money coming in, which I'm sure they do. Saliva, each guy's making has $75,000 in the bank. If that's just a lump sum and they're not bringing that in every year, that's pretty bad. That would only last me. I would start struggling around year 3. I would start struggling, and so they wouldn't really be able to buy a house outright like these other people would with $300,000 between 4 people. So yeah, Saliva may be kind of financially struggling if they don't have any future success. So hopefully I know Josie Scott has left, so hopefully the guys have figured out something else, or maybe they're doing studio work, or maybe they're going to try to, have a Saliva revival. I know they were recently in town a couple of years ago. I thought about checking them out, but I was like, Saliva, they're okay. They're not great. But man, that kind of sucks that like they're not really making much more money than just like the average person. And again, if that's just a one-time, if they just have $75,000 and that's all they have, they might be facing hardships. They might be struggling a little bit if you just have 75 and that's all you got to work with. You can't buy too much. You might put a down payment on a house, buy a car outright, and then you better start doing something else. Maybe producing records or playing on other people's records. I don't know, because I don't see Saliva making a comeback. I really don't. I like them. They're in my top 230. They're way down at the bottom. But, hey, they're a decent rock band. Now is the time for the brokest, the most poorest, least successful rock band / musician of all time. Are you guys ready? Living by Words. I promote them on this channel. I'm trying to help them out because they're so broke. These guys have 3 different bands. They've made films. They have a YouTube channel. And they've released 18 plus albums. And what do they have to show for it? 46 cents. Split 4 ways. It's in the form of 31 pennies, a dime, and a nickel. So I don't even know if you can split that 4 ways evenly. I don't think you can. You can't put 4 into 46 cents. But yeah, 4 guys, 4 grown adults are living off. Oh, and what's her name? Sally's in that group too. They're living off 46 cents. And that is they actually scraped it out of the bottom of a vending machine. So they've made $0.00 over they've been around since 2008 is when they started making music. And yeah, they made $0 in 12 years. So, living by words definitely needs to get on Saliva's level. Thank you guys. That has been the, let's see, how many we got? That has been the 15 poorest musicians ever. Thank you guys. Please like and subscribe. I'm doing all kinds of music related content on the channel. Right now, the craze that I've been going through is ranking the studio albums, but I'm doing other lists like this. Thank you guys. Have a good morning. Have a good evening. Have a good lunch. I'm going to go listen to some Lynn.